Okay.
Tony Bennett.
Ooh. Um, alive? Alive.
Is that a guess?
That is a guess.
That is correct. I think you aced it. Did you miss anybody? No, I think you got them all.
I think I got them all.
10 for 10. I'll have to give you a Papa Mutes t-shirt. Don't have them made yet, but we're working on
I'd love it.
it. So what's, besides Injustice for All, actually, how do you pick the movies you're going to watch? Do you just scroll through the TV or do you hear about them? And
When I listen to podcasts a lot about movies, and if I hear of a movie that sounds interesting, I write it down. Scrolling through the HBO Max, the streaming service, has a lot of old movies and documentaries, and I also subscribe to a streaming service called the Criterion Channel. That's a lot of the sort of artsy foreign films and documentaries and stuff I like to watch. So I get a lot from there too.
cool. What do you think of what movie, as far as bizarre, I guess if I had to use that word, just sick?
That's a good question.
Let me tell you, I'll tell you mine. You probably have
Yeah.
seen it. Clockwork Orange.
I was going to say Clockwork Orange is probably up there in terms of a big, blockbuster movie people have heard of that's really off the rails.
Off the
And
rails.
then my answer was probably going to be the end of another Stanley Kubrick movie, the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I never saw that.
Yeah, the last 20 minutes or so of that movie are pretty incomprehensible. It's sort of just like a psychedelic light show sort of thing. Yeah, so surprised that's in a major movie like that.
Yeah, I mean,
they got away with a lot of stuff like that back in the 60s.
A Clockwork Orange it's hard to watch. It drags a little bit. I would say it drags a lot, but it's just, yeah, who knows what they were thinking about.
It's pretty intense, as they say in A Clockwork Orange, a little bit of the old ultra violence.
It's so bizarre. Do you count, or do you watch animation? I'm talking,
I do.
Disney, Toy Story, old school, new school, just animation in general.
I do, yeah.
What have you watched that comes to mind? I mean, besides Toy Story.
So recently, the Pixar movie Soul, I thought was very good.
Soul? Okay.
Yep, came out on Christmas, I think. And I like to watch these like Japanese movies by this company called Studio Ghibli. They made a movie called Spirited Away that's very good, and Howl's Moving Castle, and they're sort of I don't want to call them the Disney of Japan, but they're sort of the most famous animation studio there, and they just make really, really great animated kids movies.
Cool. Have you heard of the Mutoscope?
I have not heard of the Mutoscope.
You have not heard of the Mutoscope. Shocking. It's another violation.
You're going to have to enlighten me.
It's an old machine that you look down into, that you crank the wheel and it plays. It's the animation kind of only with photographs, and you spin it and it shows a movie. It was like before movies. This was a big deal.
Oh,
Yeah, you've seen one of these machines. You put a quarter in or whatever they did back, a nickel, and you look down into this big cast iron looking structure and like binoculars, and you just crank away and it shows a simple little flick.
Yeah, I went to a museum in I think it's in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Museum of the Moving Image.
There you go.
And they had a couple of those. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're rare. I'd like to get one.
Where's the royalty? You deserve royalty.
I deserve royalties on that. That's correct. Oh well. So what's up next besides Injustice for All?
Okay, so without naming obscure movies that no one's ever heard of, the next couple movies on my list are The Wild Bunch.
Okay. Classic. Do you like musicals?
I'm not so big on musicals, although I have promised Madeline we'll watch The Sound of Music. So that is.
You have never seen The Sound of Music?
despite all the movies I've seen, there's a couple. I've never seen The Sound of Music. I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life. What? Yeah, there's definitely some very famous movies I haven't seen yet.
That's okay. We forgive you. Well, Joe, I appreciate you coming on.
I'd love to be a recurring guest.
Let's see. By the time, well, hopefully you live a long life. You could crack 20,000 movies, I think.
I think I could. Then, by the end of my life, I hope to be in the Wilt Chamberlain number.
There you go. Don't we all? All right, Joe. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Papamutes.
Take care. I want to thank Joe again for coming on. I really enjoyed talking movies with him. Hopefully we could do it again sometime. Until then, stay in touch at Papamutes on Twitter or Instagram. Remember, get busy living or get busy dying. Take care.
You have been listening to Unmuted with Papamutes.
You know what I'm talking about, you fucking cockroach.